These are my box systems. It's been so long. So long. Alright, like I was saying, these are my box systems in a less creepy way. Right here was the original Nintendo system that was released in test markets originally in October of 1985. The reason you can see it's the original, because right next to it's the other deluxe version. Now this has Rob right here. Rob's there. You got the Zapper, you got the control set, and you got Jeremiah and Duck Hunt. So the original Nintendo release, as you can see, nothing here. Nothing about, you don't see the system, you see it in this little corner here. Here you see everything. It says deluxe set because by this time this came out, you also had other sets like the action set coming out and the control deck set. But I'll get into that in a bit. Now, I personally think one of the reasons why Nintendo focused on Rob here without showing the system is because after the video game crash of '83, stores were afraid to stock home video game systems. The only way Nintendo even convinced companies to stock them with a limited supply by telling them it was not a video game system, but an entertainment system. And one of the big things that distinguished it from video game systems was Rob right here. So they're trying to say, listen, it's not a video game system like ColecoVision, like the Atari 2600, like Intellivision. It's an entertainment system, see? Of course, that was bull. It was a video game system, but companies put them in the store, and they flew off the shelves. So, Rob right here, this guy saved video games as we know it, actually. So, thank you, Rob. Thank you. So, following the deluxe set that was out, they had the action set, and this is probably the system most kids had back then, because you got just the system, you got the Zapper, this one's the second red/orange version, and you had the game that's probably the most common game out of all Nintendo games, is the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combo pack here. So you trip over these in the real world. They probably made millions of these things right here. But it's a cool system. I never had it. I actually never had a Zapper as a kid, believe it or not. What I did have, though, was the control deck system. This was the system I had as a kid, which was your bare bones. I think back then it was probably 80 bucks, which back then was a lot more money than now. And you got your control deck and Super Mario Brothers. That was it. No Zapper. If you wanted to buy the Zapper separately, you had to pick up this thing right here. So most kids never realized this existed because there was no reason to buy this. You also had the challenge set. This came later. The challenge set was like the control deck set, except it had Super Mario 3. So this was a good deal right here. Now if you want to get into shape, you had the power set, which was basically the action set plus the power pad, and then you had the extra world-class track meet triple combo pack with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. Now most kids came to quickly realize that the power pad was pretty useless because there was no good games on it. I mean, they had even games like Dance Aerobics where you're dancing around like an idiot. I mean, who would play this game? No one would play. Oh yeah. Now on top we have a box Nes Satellite. This was a 4-player wireless connector. So there were only a handful of games for Nintendo that supported 4 players, including Super Spike V-Ball, Nintendo World Cup, Nightmare on Elm Street, to name a few. Right here we just have NES controllers in the box. Contains 2 standard controllers, that's all it is. We got the NES Advantage here. Lots of kids had the Advantage. Pretty solid arcade-like joystick. You had a cool turbo function. You also had a slow-mo function, but the slow-mo was really in the game, pausing it and unpausing it really quickly. So pretty annoying. Some games you can use it on, some games you couldn't. This is actually new. I bought this in the late 90s at a Toys R Us. They had like 10 of them still for like $5. But the highlight here is the NES Max. Sealed in the box. I love the Max. The Advantage, I could take it or leave it. But this is a really cool controller. People don't like this little circular thing you put your thumb in, but it actually doesn't give you that Nintendo thumb by doing that. And it's actually more precise to me. And it's got some cool turbo buttons right there. Pretty cool controller. So this is it. This is like my box systems right here. This is my love, really. I love this. There's about 5 variations I'm missing. Ooh, what's this behind here? Oh my god! I forgot to tell you this. It's an action set! This is so cool! Oh, I have it already. Ah! Whoa! We got tons of things here. This is actually where I keep... This is an extra box, actually, and I keep all my extra stuff in here. got my advantages, got my quick shot joysticks, tons of extra maxes, more advantages, these geeky stickers from Nintendo Power issues on the controller, extra zappers. The NES had some of the weirdest and wackiest peripherals and accessories of any video game system. Let's take a look at some of these gems. Here's the good old power pad, useful in making burgers and dancing your ass off. The acclaimed wireless remote controller. I believe this was the first wireless controller Nintendo had. The Pro Beam, a wireless infrared zapper. These guys also put out a wireless joystick. The Archer Joystick Docking Bay. This wasn't a joystick by itself. Oh no, you actually had to place an NES controller inside, and then the buttons on top just hit the buttons on the inside. This could be the laziest controller accessory ever designed. Go outside, just find a twig, stick, come back inside and just crazy glue it to your NES controller. It'll do the same thing. Ah, the U-Force, the subpar motion controller. The infamous Power Glove, in both small and large size. This combined with the U-Force were pretty much the predecessor to the Wii motion controls. And it is really as bad as what everyone else says it is. The good old game Genie. This allowed you to cheat and really do what you wanted to by inputting codes for each game. You can get invincibility, infinite lives, you could warp to levels, and lots of other cool stuff. Some kids discovered that by using this, they got a snugger fit when putting their carts into the system. The problem is that when you overuse the Game Genie, it bends the pins on your connector board. The Family Computer, or the Famicom. Released in Japan in 1983, this was the Nintendo, the one that started it all. Here's the Twin Famicom. This combined both the regular Famicom and the disk system all in one. The Famicom 3D glasses. These were not released in the US, and I'm not sure why, since this was a true 3D system, not the cheap glasses that came with Rad Racer. There were 3D games that came out in Japan that were specifically designed to be used with this system, and those never came out here. Here's some random Famicom games I had. Most were games also released in the US, but a few were not. Recognize this guy? The host from MXC. He was a famous comedian in Japan. He designed this bizarre game, Takashi no Chosenju, which in Japan is regarded as one of the worst games ever. 10-yard fight for the Famicom is unique because it has a little LED that lights up when the game is on. A few pirated multi-carts. Here's a couple of different adapters to play your Famicom games on a US system, including my beloved Honeybee adapter. The Freedom Stick, another wireless joystick, nothing special. Ever wanted to bring your Nintendo on a picnic? Well, now you can with the Z-Bag. This bag will fit your Nintendo, controllers, and some games. And inside is the Goth Nintendo! Hardcore man! Pentagrams! 666 F Mario. Oh man, I'm evil. The top loader and dog bone controller. The top loader worked a lot better than the original NES, but the problem was there was no AV output, only RF, so the video did not look as crisp. Swimmies! The Super Mario Brothers Lunchbox and Thermos. Oh, look at the Koopa. Looks like he's taking a dump. Here's the Aladdin deck enhancer and the games it played on. These games weren't that much different than the regular versions, so there wasn't really a need for this. The Generation Nex. This is a newer system. It plays both Famicom and NES games. Here's my stash of Nintendo Powers in a Funkoland box. Oh, I miss Funkoland. Some Nintendo Power issues had cool inserts and player guides. Unfortunately, I did not keep all my old issues. My dad forced me to throw them out. But before I did, I tore out the cool stuff, like the top secret episode level select code. Here's a Nintendo Power audio cassette containing some tips. And the case of random controllers. The Turbo Blaster converts your regular controllers into an advantage, basically. You have a slow-mo and a dial for different levels of turbo. The Mega was a nifty little programmable controller. It had turbo functions, and you could program codes or sequences. Here's the Arkanoid controller, the only analog controller the system had. The Camerica Video Blaster, which looks like a 6-shooter from the Old West. Makes me want to pop in Wild Gunman. Here's an Epix joystick. It's small. And the Sansui Joy-Card SSS. Unique in the fact that it has an audio output directly from the controller. So if you want to plug your headphones in, you could do so.